Hey guys, this is Bridget, and today I want to talk to you about being raw and vulnerable and real and authentic. I've been really wanting to do this video for like 2 weeks, but I haven't had a chance to. So I want to just take you through the advantages to really being real. It's hypercritical right now in our world for many different reasons, so I want to take you through that. And just an update, I've been super busy, lots been going on, lots of traveling, but I'll have more videos coming out, like definitely every week, so stay tuned, and lots of awesome content, and I have so much to create, it just hasn't come out yet. So thanks for sticking with me. So for today, raw, rich, vulnerable, authentic. Especially right now in the spiritual community, there's this underlying belief of being neutral and everything being fine, everything being perfect, everything's exciting. And of course that's true. Inherently, everything is perfect. Inherently, everything is awesome the way that it is, even if you just crashed your car, because there's some greater meaning to it. And it's very important that if there is still some emotion that's unintegrated or it's expressed. I think one of the things that has come up, especially being in the ET world and being kind of an ambassador for that idea, is like, we're still human. Like, are we completely infinite beings? Absolutely. Are we like crazy creators of our reality and infinity? Yes. And we are human. And it's really becoming an awesome fucking human. An embodied human. A real human. To actually do that, just if that's all we worked on, is being an incredible human being in this life, that would be enough. And if we are an incredible human being, that means that we are an infinite creator. So showing our humanity, showing realness, is a critical piece of this spiritual transformation, spiritual evolution and awakening. It's critical. Like, if we don't get to this point of being really real and raw with where we're at, we will be handcuffed. We will be not able to move. So the idea of expressing where we're at, even if it isn't spiritual, even if sometimes it's not neutral, it's gonna end up being better, because it can come out, it can come up, it can move, so that then you can get to the place of neutrality. Then you can get to the place of balance again. So when your car is wrecked, and there's been several car wrecks in like my periphery over the past few years living in community that have manifested around me. And there are some times where I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, like, we'll just have to work with whatever that means. And then there are times where I'm kind of pissed, and I have to let that energy come out so that then I can move through it and transform it. And this comes out in a variety of different ways. So there's a lot that happens if you don't express. And I'm seeing the manifestations of that in my life and in people around me. If you don't express and you stay in this neutral point, which is truly kind of like a facade, so that it seems like everything's perfect, which technically isn't true, and it can start to get really convoluted because you start to think in your head, like your head says, I am truly neutral, but your body and your heart and your emotions and your soul aren't quite aligned with that. They're not actually feeling neutral. So real alignment and getting out of your head and actually letting emotions flow, even if they're not yours. Like one of my guy friends, before our retreat started, there were some emotions that came up. And they weren't necessarily his, but he was letting them flow through him. So letting emotions flow isn't necessarily bad. It's a way of releasing. And it's actually really positive, because it means that things aren't going to jar and manifest in more negative ways. So when things are suppressed, when things aren't raw, real, expressed, it manifests in negative ways. I saw it a few weeks ago with one of my friends. Something came up, and I won't go into the details necessarily, but something came up, and there was a big accident, not a car accident, but like a physical accident that happened, because the energy has to move. And if it doesn't move with you, so you may not see the ripples of those repercussions, but your dog might. Dogs, animals take on a lot of energy. Your children might. Your children might start manifesting your suppressed emotions because you're being high and mighty and being super spiritual. Or it could be a friend, or it starts actually manifesting outside of you because it can't come through you in just like a healthy way. So I want to break down this barrier of needing to look a certain way, like needing to carry this air of being perfect, because it is going to be a hindrance to growth. And true expression, true authenticity, true vulnerability is power if you feel it that way and you own it and you're wanting to move through it. Because there's people that own their vulnerability, or like in the way of they just like are a sob story and they just like want to be in it and the drama like all the time, and they want to talk about it. And then that's the other opposite, right? But actually letting it move is really healthy. And when it comes from a really authentic, pure place in your heart, it's real, and the other person will feel it, and you'll be received for that. So why don't we then express? Why don't we be vulnerable? Why don't we be real? Well, we're afraid of being judged, right? That someone's going to think that we aren't all spiritual, or we aren't all perfect, or we don't have it all together. And honestly, like, there's times that we don't. There's times that pretty much everyone doesn't. And even if there are those people that always have it together, fine, they always have it together. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes I don't. And even like talking to you, like there's this persona that like everything's perfect in my life. There's challenges, there's things that go on. So I want to start bringing this conversation into our community so that we can talk about it, so it can flow and release in a positive manner, so that it can just move, and then we can go on to the next thing. And to say, one of the reasons that people don't share, you might not share, I might not share, is because it doesn't feel safe. And you might not feel heard and actually received by the other people around you for what you have to share. And that happens a lot. And so in those cases, one, if you truly are vulnerable and you're truly real, the other person's heart can't help but feel it on some level. And so just know that like vulnerability is power. It is incredible what vulnerability can do if you use it to transform. If it's just certain people that just can't get it, then find friends, find circles, find community support, find coaches or healers that can support you and hold space for you as you move through something. And as you move through it, then it can be complete, and you can go on, and you can go back to neutrality, you can go back to joy, and everything's good. So just this idea of suppression of the emotions, the suppression of being real, can manifest very negatively, and it's just not healthy or good to do. And I went to this women's retreat a few weeks ago in Vermont, and I went, one, because I want to really start connecting with women, working with women in the female lineage category, as you've been seeing me getting into. And one of the reasons I wanted to go is because I knew that no one would know me. And it was very interesting meeting people that had never met me and knew nothing about this YouTube channel. Like, I was treated very differently than I am treated by everyone in my life who like sees me on YouTube. And I wanted to be real, and I wanted to be raw for some of the things going on in my life. And it felt like I wanted to do that with people that had never seen me in this context before. And it was able to flow more because that was the space they were in. And it was awesome, and it felt so good. And so that's one of the things that I want to bring back to you guys, is even more authenticity of like what's going on with me, what's going on with you, and really getting at it on a human level, so that we can move through it. And that's why like I love like Teal Swan's work and moving into the shadow, and like being able to look at the shadow, or being able to look at the mundane world of like your job, or like this relationship or something that's going on, because that's more of the everyday life we experience. And these sensationalized, awesome, epic, transcendent experiences happen, absolutely, and they're happening more and more, but they might not be as prevalent. And the more that we become real and raw, the more transcendent experiences that we'll have, which seems weird. It's like, focus more on the human and you'll actually get more up there, but it's true. So I really want to encourage that. And yeah, look for circles, look for friends, look for people that you can connect with in this way that is real and authentic. This is the direction that I'm going. Lots of different things have been coming up for me. I really want to go into deepening my own spiritual path. Like, so much of it has been expression and output of what has already come through for me in these past few years, that I'm ready to go like back in. I'm ready to go inward and deep into my own experiences and really develop my skill set. You know, I mean, there's been moments where I've come close to teleportation, so I want to like do a video and talk about it, but I haven't fully teleported. So I want to develop these kind of skills so that I can bring back even more rich, deep value. So I just want to continue on that path, and so I want to spread more of that kind of information to you guys. Patrick has an awesome video that's like the counterpart to this, because we talk about this subject a lot on neutrality and the benefits and the downsides of what that can bring. So go check out his video on that. And going back to this retreat that I went to, it was interesting because I was like, well, what's gonna happen if everyone just like is so oozy and raw? Will they just want to stay in that state? You know, like, will they just want to keep on like coming up with shit to like move through? And they didn't. They were just like, once they could be heard, once they could be witnessed, they were good, you know. And of course more stuff might come up, but it was like, no, they can go back to a whole state and then move forward. So that was really interesting to see, and that was encouraging for me in the idea of bringing through more of this raw, rich vulnerability. And I highly suggest checking out my friend Allie's work, because it's fucking amazing. She is really real, super authentic, and like goes to places that almost no one would go, and about her life. And that is profound. And I feel like it's a really important counterbalance to all of the transcendent stuff happening with other people that is also hyper authentic for them, but just bringing that counterbalance into this like place of growth and spirituality in our community is super important. And she does have a woman's group online that holds that space of authenticity, if that's something that you're looking for and you want to go into, to where you can just be like super real. So I'll put the links to that information below if you want to check that out. And if you're a man, just go check out her work anyways. It'll blow your mind. And just to kind of see what that embodiment of raw richness looks like, which is, again, just as important, because going into the human element, once we really look at it, once we really witness it, we can rocket speed quickly into the next stages of where we want to go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to do more on all kinds of subjects, and sure, I can do that Arcturian video on which kind of starseed energy are you and get 50,000 views. But right now, there's other things up. And so I hope you will go on this journey with me in the things that I feel are authentic and real to me at this particular moment. So if you like videos like this, please like, share, and comment below on what you want to see more of, and I'll see you next week with a new video.